Welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to answer the question, why get out of your comfort zone? Now, this is very important to learn when and why to get out of what we call this comfort zone, because so many times we go through life and we just like to stay right here in this comfort zone and not step out of it. But I'm going to share with you that I have never grown until I got out of this comfort zone, because that is where the magic happens. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've learned this lesson sort of the hard way in life, that when I was guilty of sort of getting very comfortable in this zone and not wanting to step out of it, I began to realize, wow, in any experience in life, good or bad, I only have grown when I got out of my comfort zone, because as I mentioned, this is where the magic happens. So let me give you a few examples of how to do this and how to recognize opportunities that you may want to seize in life, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable for you. Recently, at my annual Grandpa's Camp with our grandchildren, I decided to take them on a hot air balloon ride at 10,500 feet. My wife has flown with me when I used to have 2 private aircraft, and she was not comfortable in that little airplane. She likes to be in the big jets. But she thought, oh, do I want to go in this hot air balloon at 10,000 feet? Because she's been with me when there's been turbulence and lots of winds. But she got out of her comfort zone. I was fine. Our 2 granddaughters who were with us that morning, they were a little bit nervous, but they have learned from Grandpa that you only grow when you get out of that comfort zone. It was incredible as we began to ascend to 7, 8, 9, 10,000 feet. It was so calm and gorgeous and beautiful as we saw areas of the valley in this peaceful setting instead of zooming around in a helicopter or an airplane. And at the end, my wife goes, "Thank you for helping me get out of my comfort zone and having that experience." She will never regret not seizing that opportunity. So a lot of people don't feel comfortable maybe getting up in front of an audience and speaking. So they resist it. And I learned a long time ago, even in high school, that I had to get out of my comfort zone and stand in front of a group of 5 and then 10 and then 25 people. And before I knew it, because I was sort of shy in school, in junior high, as I got into high school, I began to take oratory and debate. People went, well, yeah, what? Doug Andrew is going to do that? And as I began to get out of my comfort zone, 3 years later, as a senior, I took state in oratory. If you would have told me that I would take state in oratory 3 years earlier, I would have laughed at you. In fact, do you know that a lot of my college professors, my English professors in high school and college, because of the essays I would write, and they would, I'm sure, just roll their eyes, if they knew that Doug Andrew today is a New York Times, Wall Street Journal #1 best-selling author of now 11 books and so forth, they would go, what? How did that happen? Well, I'm going to share with you a secret that I've learned to be able to recognize which opportunities in life I'm going to seize, which ones I'm going to delegate, and which ones I'm going to walk away from based upon, is this opportunity going to cause me to stretch, to get out of my comfort zone, but it must fall within a certain element that I'll share with you now. Looking back in the decade 1990 to the year 2000, I had been helping people optimize their financial assets for many years up until that point and minimize unnecessary tax. People came to me through what I call the financial dimension. But I knew I had a book in me, in fact, probably several books, but I sort of announced this BHAG. Now that's BHAG. I think everybody should have a BHAG. What does that mean? A big, hairy, audacious goal. Okay, so I had this BHAG to write a book. Oh my heavens, did I have naysayers. What are you thinking, Doug? What are you going to do? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to publish it? And in fact, my son-in-law's father, who was over several book publishing companies, he goes, who's going to be your publisher? And I said, well, I think I'm just going to self-publish. Oh, really? And he said, I did that once. I printed 500 copies. I still have 460 in my garage. Well, that was helpful. I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and write this book, and I'm going to do it in a conversational tone. I was a perfectionist until I sort of got liberated from being a perfectionist. I have another episode that I'll share with you. If you're a perfectionist, I'll help you break that habit, get out of your comfort zone and not have to be perfect. What I want to share is, as I began to announce this BHAG, I was now committed. And even though my first book took me 10 years, I got out of the comfort zone and I got it done. My next book took 1 year. The next one took 4 months. It became a New York Times, Wall Street Journal #1 bestseller. The next book took 36 hours. And now, because I got out of my comfort zone, I've written several books, and I can teach you how to write a best-selling book in 36 hours. I have a whole course that talks about that. The point is, I would still be sitting there with this manuscript with all this stuff on my credenza waiting for it to be perfect if I didn't get out of my comfort zone and just do it, release it, print it, say it, record it, send it. So I learned by doing that, I sort of had to get out of my comfort zone and seize opportunities and announce the BHAG. Guess what happened? When I first talked about it, I was at a convention in Maui, and I was at the Ritz-Carlton there in Kapalua. This was right after, 30 days after 9/11, the terrorist attacks. Half of the attendees canceled. They didn't want to fly or travel. The first evening at this huge financial event, I was sitting with these gentlemen at a table, and I was talking about my BHAG because they said, what are you excited about? Oh, I've got this book and it has 23 myth conceptions, and I'm so excited because I share the strategies and all this. And they go, whoa, wow, that's awesome. Would you like to be a speaker at the $1 Million Roundtable? I go, yeah, right. I mean, one of my friends, Mark Victor Hansen, if you don't know who that is, he's co-author with Jack Canfield of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul stories, and they were turned down by I don't know how many publishers for that, and now it's the #1 sort of franchise books in all the bookstores. There's like 3 shelves dedicated to Chicken Soup for the Calico Male Lover, Cat Lover Soul books. I mean, you name it, and there's a book about it. And they don't even write the books. They just collect the stories and publish them. They had to get out of their comfort zone. Mark Victor Hansen said, my BHAG is someday to be invited to speak at the $1 Million Roundtable convention. I wasn't even an author of my first book quite yet, and these 3 gentlemen asked me if I'd like to be the speaker, and I sort of snickered, yeah, right. And they go, oh no, I'm last year's president, I'm the chairman, here's this year's president, and here's the vice president, and we can tell you're passionate, we would like you to speak. Now, the key is when you get out of your comfort zone, the magic starts happening. You could not convince me in a million years that if I had not announced that BHAG and been excited, got out of my comfort zone and announced that I was going to author a book, that opportunity would have never come to fruition. Because I was so blessed when I spoke. They had to schedule a major ballroom. This was in Vegas. They said, oh, don't feel bad if people are out in the casinos or eating at the buffets. You might only get 30 or 40 people to come. Well, I put together 10 keys that would empower them. The attendees, the ballroom held 1,000. They let in 1,600, and the fire marshals turned away another 600. And my book sales went through the roof. But what had to happen? I had to get out of my comfort zone and seize an opportunity that caused me to stretch beyond. The first time I spoke on the radio, I was nervous, but pretty soon it became natural. The first time I got in front of a TV camera, I was very nervous until I just started doing it. Now it becomes second nature. I still have butterflies. I've learned how to tame those butterflies by making those opportunities, seizing them, getting out of the comfort zone, and the magic will happen for you too. Trust me. So here are the 3 takeaways that I want you to get. First of all, you will grow greater, faster by getting out of your comfort zone, because that is where the magic happens. Seize opportunities that will cause you to stretch. But here's the 3rd key. Whatever opportunities are out there, seize the ones that not only cause you to stretch, get out of your comfort zone, but they are still within your unique ability. In other words, I'm not going to go out there and try to be a quarterback or play ice hockey or do something that I'm not good at. That's totally out of my unique ability. But if I have a little bit of a unique ability to be able to speak or to take complex things simple, okay, I'm going to go talk to an audience. I'm going to join Toastmasters. I'm going to start talking. And the more I do that, I get more comfortable in front of an audience of 100, 1,000, 2,000, on radio, on TV. Whatever it is that you're doing, take the time to look at the opportunities. Which opportunities in life are you going to seize, but the ones that will cause you to stretch? If you're doing the same old stuff, life gets boring. You want to continue to be able to have those ones that will help you grow, and then watch the strategic byproducts. The magic happen as you announce these, and opportunities will continue to fall in your lap, and you will look back 5, 10, 15 years and go, oh my heavens, look what has happened ever since I started getting out of my comfort zone and just going out and doing it. Life is too short not to seize those opportunities. So if this concept has resonated with you, there are a lot of other related topics that I have written about and shared, very many YouTube videos and education, but I have a book titled Entitlement Abolition. And in that book, I actually talk about how I teach my own children and grandchildren, my employees, how to seize these opportunities and get out of their comfort zone so they'll grow. And so if you would like, I would love to gift you, absolutely free, a copy of Entitlement Abolition. So click on the link here, and for a nominal postage and shipping handling fee, you can obtain a free copy of Entitlement Abolition. Go through there and zero in on how you can empower yourself and those that you care about to get out of their comfort zones. So if this is resonating with you, and you would like to learn a little bit more about how to get out of your comfort zone and figure out which opportunities to seize, which ones to delegate, which ones to walk away from, and empower those that you care about, your children, your grandchildren, your employees, I have a book titled Entitlement Abolition. And in that book, I explain this concept, and I believe it can empower you to be able to help those that you care about do the same things that I've been talking about. So click on the link below and I will gift you one absolutely free. You just pay nominal shipping and handling, and I will ship one out to you and enjoy it and learn many things related to this particular topic.